Alright, folks, ladies and gentlemen, this is Sebastianni. It's one of my very first blogcasts. Unfortunately, we don't have any video to really show right now. Apologize for that. I'm working on that. Um, One of the very first things I want to talk about, it seems to be up for discussion a lot, is being basically a dark-skinned Latino in America. A lot of people tend to think that when you see a person that looks like they're black, but it could be extremely dark skin or semi dark skin. That they think, if let's say for example, like me for example, I'm Italian. Unfortunately you can't see a video of me. I'm working on that, but I'm dark skinned Italian. I have Hispanic roots as well, and people tend to have the thing where if there's no such thing as a dark skin in anything in the Latin race. It's just you either dark skin or you're Latin, and which is you got to be very careful how you kind of put that into perspective like that, because you got to understand that there's dark skinned any grade. There's dark skinned Germans, there's dark skinned French people, there's dark skinned Puerto Ricans. There was slavery, and there was a lot of slaves displaced in parts of the world. Um, some people tend to think, oh, that's not true, Sebastian. That's just that's kind of BS you're saying right there, and it's like it's just no, it's just ignorance in America. America has this thing where they like to assume they tell you basically who you are and who you aren't, like they God or Jesus Christ, which makes no sense, and or it's like the Jehovah's Witness or whatever the situation that they might try to portray themselves, and you just can't do that. I mean, people, if they say they represent something, whether you want to believe it or not, that's what it is. Because you'd be surprised about what people, roots people are made or heritage people basically have in them that might have you thinking the other way around. But I'm not going too further in discussion because it's just kind of a stupid topic to bring up, but it just seems to be bothering me, and it seems to be bothering other dark skinned, Latinos, especially because Puerto Ricans have a certain color, and that's just total ignorance. If that makes you mad or offends you, I'm sorry. I really don't care. People gotta learn how to use their brain and know how to interpret things in a better sense of manner than that. Another thing is when you bring up religion, when you talk about religion with people, people tend to get very very offended in lots of ways about it. Like like I was at Red Lobster one time. I used to work there when I was 16 years old. It was about 4 years back, and I had this one guy. He sneezed, and there was this beautiful Italian server lady walked up to him, and basically told him, bless you. And the guy got angry, like, don't talk about God in front of me. I don't believe in him. And the first thing I wanted to do is I just looked at him like, dude, are you freaking crazy, dude? I mean, just because you may not believe in God doesn't mean that you gotta sit there and get it all right like that. I mean, you gotta understand that you gotta be more open minded than that. I understand the fact he doesn't believe in God or whatever. People might believe in different beliefs, but don't let that offend you. So you say, well, it doesn't work that way. So you ask you, you understand that everyone can't think like that. It's not about everybody can't think like that. That's not the point. The point is you believe in something and you have confidence in yourself to believe in that particular thing that you believe in, and it shouldn't offend you. But unfortunately, you got people that tend to think that that doesn't work that way, and you can't live the life with the philosophy. It doesn't work that way. Yes, it does. It's all about how you use that particular tool. Um, I know this blog seems kind of draggy a little bit, so I just got off work. So I'm kind of dragging on, but those are kind of the two topics I want to bring up. And another thing is, man, with Orlando, man, the taxi system sucks. Um, I was on the way off work about 11 o'clock at night, and basically, trying to call a taxi up. This has been like most nights. It's been getting worse. We would ask for a taxi, and the first thing they do is just basically just like say, okay, well, we'll send you one in a few minutes. Like, because they said they have GPS system and all. So I sat one down, one to a taxi lady on the phone. I was like, okay, when it's gonna come. She's like, I can't tell you when it's gonna come. I said, well, you have a GPS system. You can't tell me when a taxi's gonna drive in my area. I said, well, we really don't know yet. So I had to sit there and call them 2 and 3 times, wasting $1.50 on the payphone or waste minutes on my track phone, just trying to get them to give me a time frame when it's gonna come. And one time when the Denny's was shut down, I tried to wait for a taxi, supposed to show up there, and it didn't show up. It showed up there like 45 minutes later, which makes absolutely no sense. There was no traffic on the road. yeah, you had something dealing with, I got get doing some reggaeton tracks over there in the Rossi, but that's just over there. You know what I mean? It's nothing has nothing to do with not being able to send a taxi over and that sort of deal. And the bus system sucks too because I don't understand. You have Rich DeVos. He's a great man. During my days when I was in the 8th grade, when I wanted him, Dr. Martin Luther King Humanitarian Award, man, when the hood was here, but he's just, he took the money which could have been used for the bus and decided to build a whole nother stadium. And not only did that kind of f up Link's bus system to a degree, it also ruined the chance of having a performing arts center, which they're still thinking about building, but it won't be as big as most people wanted it to be because Rich DeVos wanted to put a brand new Magic Stadium, which makes absolutely no sense. Because all you had to do is renovate the stadium you had. Like, oh, there's more people coming to Orlando. It's like, dude, it doesn't matter where the whole world comes to Orlando. It's not gonna. The stadium's not gonna be able to occupy every Orlando resident that's gonna want be in there. Because I don't know how many people live in Orlando roughly. I want to say about 3 million, but I'm probably like way off or way under. Pretty sure I probably have some comments telling me how many people is in Orlando. So I'm not a geographic person, knows how many people live here, that sort of deal. But money's being spent the wrong way, and Link's bus system is so slow. One time I was trying to get to Valencia to get to school. It was like 3 in the afternoon, Monday afternoon. It's been like that till Thursday, and the bus is like an hour late, hour and a half late. Well, because of this construction and all this kind of kind of crappy Joe stuff. But the truth wasn't just construction. They're just fucking slow in general. I mean, excuse my French for saying the F word, but they're just freaking slow in general. And it disappoints me because it wouldn't have this kind of problem if they would have like a monorail system. You know what I mean? A monorail system would be like the best thing that Links can possibly have. I mean, not Links possibly have. The state of Florida can have, but people can go from one place to another, and it's definitely take a lot of cars off the road. It'd be more about telecommuting. Of course, Charlie Crist and a lot of Republicans in the House in Florida basically are saying, people don't know what the hell they talk about. But you know what? It's not about what you think. It's about what people want. And of course, sometimes Republicans tend to think that it's all about putting money in their pockets and putting things in a whole other category. But you just can't do that. I mean, if people say they want a monorail because they want a faster way to be able to go day to day from work to home, or you gotta take your kids, pick up your kids, that sort of deal, or carpool, and that's where the way it has to go. But that's pretty much my various topics for the background. Pretty much can subscribe. Stay tuned. I got other topics coming up real soon, and I got some bass sessions for any of you audio geeks out there who like some bass tests. I got some of that coming up for you too. Sebastianni signing off.